here we are, we're about to have the closing party, our last hurrah, after which literally we're gonna start taking everything down, which is like no time for mourning at all. And I just wanted to have a conversation, since we weren't able to do some of the other ones because we did this thing so fast, about some of the questions we probably would have talked about then. For example, now that we're done, what would we do different? What would you want to do differently?
I think my main thing that I want to do differently is more and bigger portraits.
Yeah, really? And why the desire for bigger?
Because it's more imposing. It forces you to look into people's eyes.
That's interesting.
And this still does, but 20 by 30?
Yeah.
They're bigger than you then.
Yeah.
And you kind of need that to get people to acknowledge suicide as a problem. You need it to really punch you in the face, in a way.
Gotcha.
That's why a lot of people become advocates, I think, but...
Yeah. So larger. It could be, I mean, we talked about some other things too that were meant to help with that maybe we didn't get to, like possibly having some kind of ambient sound. Yeah, like the voices in the background talking a little bit, so it's kind of always there. Yeah, something that's kind of a constant reminder. Right, yeah, right now we have ambient noise.
Or even like the idea of Depression Quest has this really interesting ambient music as you're playing it.
Right.
Something like that, something super low key.
Yeah.
Super low key.
Yeah.
But just so it's not like in the quieter moments, like right now, or when people are trickling in, like just some little thing.
Yeah. It's interesting because it kind of sounds like you would love for it to be kind of an immersive experience, which is hard to do in this space and expensive, but we could do it, it could be done.
But it's super immersive already. It really is. It's amazing.
I mean, there are definitely projects in which they've done things like that where, the portraits are, if they're using like digital medium, right? And they'll have like large screens and the person is kind of like moving a little bit, like sitting there watching, but doesn't start talking, for example, until you like initiate it. So maybe even something like that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of just waiting to tell their story, Another question I had was, what was surprising about the process or anything that happened?
The thing that is most surprising is how much organization it takes to put a show together.
Yeah.
So you.
Cool.
I would never have been able to do this with all the content I have. I would never have been able to put this together and to make this happen. So it really is dependent on collaboration.
Yeah.
With what is your title?
An exhibition designer.
Exhibition designer, right? That is an art.
Oh, I'm glad.
That is an art.
I think for me, the thing that was surprising was that, because we did it so fast, we didn't get to promote it as much as we would like, right? And so, I mean, maybe we would have liked to have had more people coming in, on a more regular basis, maybe have more events, but also just like get the word out more. And we just weren't able to. So that's just a fact. But what was really great was that there were some really fantastic moments that happened with, specific individuals responding in a way that made up for it not being as much of a broadcast as it could be if we had more time.
Yeah, and people continuing to show up.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, repeat visits, like really just being invested in your project and wanting to support was awesome. Like the experience that I had where someone came in about a separate job, and then we had a really amazing conversation about the content of this show when we were going to talk about something else. So, things like that where it was like, oh, okay, great. I mean, there's moments where it's like the quality aspect is so high that it just overwhelms any idea of like, quantity.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about this project is people will find just one thing and then it'll be one person and they'll pass it on to the next one, and that's kind of how it's spread itself slowly.
Yeah. So it's been, slow, interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Well, initially, I mean, I've been doing it for 4 years. So
Right.
it's this last year where things have gotten a little faster. But,
Yeah, they sure have.
it really required a stronghold with, I guess, particular stakeholders. People had to find an identification with it and then loyalty to it, and then it really kind of got out there.
Yeah, you've had kind of a spike, I'd say. And then I guess another question which you might have already touched on, our audience is waiting. What did we learn?
Don't do this in 2 weeks. God, no. I don't know.
Oh,
I
man,
learn something
isn't
new
that the
every
truth?
day.
Yeah, don't do it in 2 weeks.
I gotta think about that a little longer.
I'll give my thoughts.
Okay, yeah, you tell me.
Which is talking about the amount of time and the financial investment. You have to do it. You have to do it because,
Yeah.
and if you can't fit it in, then you probably should just wait.
Right.
You know,
and
I think that would have been helpful for both of us.
Yeah. Because, I mean, especially we do this together in the middle of suicide prevention week.
Right, which is so hard for you.
And it was like, and then there were technical difficulties getting you the files because the files were big, and it was just,
Yeah.
and then we were both traveling. So
Yeah.
it really does require a huge amount of communication, a huge amount of like scheduling, and then extra buffer time for when the files are too big and you can't figure out how to get them on Dropbox or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I know there was something that I wanted to do, meant to do before I left to go somewhere, and then I forgot. And I was like, no. I don't even remember what it was.
I don't remember either, because I'm sure we worked it out.
We did, but
yeah.
it was just like,
It added stress in your life.
yeah. So
How do you
time-
think? How do you think it? That could have been communicated to you in a way that would work for you? Because I mean, the thing is that you can easily get very overwhelmed. If I sat you down and I was like, okay, so here's everything goes into exhibition design. I'm like, blah blah blah. I just keep listing. Honestly, it's almost better not to know in some. But maybe I would love to hear your thoughts on like how it could be done incrementally so it doesn't feel so exhausting.
Well, I think initially when you're first starting to talk about it and you talk about the layout, which you did quite a bit of with I can't even describe it because I was like, what is that?
The model.
The model.
Yes.
I think just kind of blocking out the time it'll take to set it up. The number of events, the nature of the events, especially those in advance because I really wanted to get a psychiatrist in here and I couldn't because they were busy.
Right.
What else? I had something else that was really, I forgot. Just almost like a pre-made structure of the information that you need each artist to know upon coming in.
Yeah.
That
I think
you
that's a good piece of advice.
could tweak.
For each one, of course.
Yeah, because I imagine there's so much of the same stuff. Here's what I need from you. I need an artist statement. I need I don't know what else. Resources. Especially if you're going to be doing this stuff, you're probably always going to need resources, right? What else do we use?
But I think you already called it out too, which is like, okay, here's what we're gonna do beforehand, meaning how we're gonna get this thing up.
Yeah.
Here's an estimate of how much time it's gonna take. And the way that we design the thing is gonna affect how long it takes.
Right.
And here's how much involvement I would like from you to help put this up.
The designing part was super easy because you read my mind a lot. So
that was luck too, because ordinarily that would be like a process, of kind of like ongoing conversations for sure. And you were also very open.
Right.
So
I don't know if you read my mind or if it was out there on the website or like what it was, but you kept saying things that I was like, yeah, I want that. Of course I want that.
So then talking about events, because events are really important. They really like liven up the space.
Yeah, and you definitely need lead time for things that are happening on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Sure, so lead time is huge because you need to get people invested in something that's going to happen on a Tuesday night, but you also can't be spamming them.
Right.
which is hard.
Yeah.
I'd say that what I liked the most was the other day when you came in and Doug was here, or not just the other day, but Doug was here and you got to be interviewed for this film that's going to come out and it's going to be in wide release, and this space is going to be a part of it, and hopefully that collaboration, that tiny little collaboration will help you and help me and help him. And then we got the show into, or your poster specifically into the
cool.
Eugene paper, the front page.
Yeah, that was super cool.
It was just talking to people, the little things that can happen. I thought that was so cool. Getting other artists involved.
Yeah, I agree. That's even more proof of what I was saying about like quality over quantity, you know, where you have a really strong project that's like already, I mean, that's like, I feel honored to work with a project that's already just experiencing so much momentum, you know, that I can be included in that process is great, you know. But then also the space offers something different for your project too, so it's this very mutually
Physical.
mutually beneficial thing.
Yeah, you are literally looking into these people's eyes. I also wrote to the creator of Depression Quest, and she was very, very, very happy.
Oh, we can send her a picture of it too,
Cool.
like set up. I took a picture, so.
She was super happy.
Good. Cool.
She said that it gave her, she didn't say it this way, but like a bright light in a shitty time. she was motivated by it.
That's good. Yeah. To get like a random, hey, we used your project is always nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm obsessed with your game. You thought of it. You thought to put it in me.
Thanks
I
for
probably
your
would have
website.
forgotten.
Oh, that's another thing that I should add is that because your website was already so robust, it made a huge difference. You know, that it was something for me to know working with other people in the future,
Right.
that like when people already have such a strong, you know, hierarchy and like structure to their resources or their knowledge or whatever, their actual work, other people's work, when it's already kind of broken down and easy to understand online, it's going to be easy to translate physically. You know, I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Less of those design conversations.
Yeah, unless like, oh, is there something else we could put here? Like, what else is out there? You already have these resources,
Right.
and you had mentioned Depression Quest in the interview, so.
But you came up with this genius bug up corner. And that's another thing, because you thought of that, we were able to bring in content from a coordinator of another local organization, a local suicide prevention organization. So Zoe, I don't think is based in New York, but we brought in more than one group of people.
Yeah.
The filmmakers are based in LA, they're based in Manhattan. There was, there is a bit of a community aspect to it, even if they're not physically.
Yeah, even a friend of mine came in and said, oh, my friend works for that organization. So, the crisis text chat, yeah. So I was like, oh, fantastic.
Crisis text line, you're right.
We were supposed to. I was going to try and reach out to her and see if she would do an event.
Yes,